What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for tuning in. It means so much to me if you're new to my channel. My name is Frances Florence. Today I'm going to be giving you my tips to get started in the modeling industry. If you're new to my channel and you're just watching me for the first time, I've been modeling for 6 years now. I'm signed to LA Models. I'm also signed to Scout San Francisco, Option Model and Media in Portland, Oregon, and also signed with Wanted Mexico City. I've been getting a lot of direct messages on Instagram as well as some comments that you guys have left on some of my previous videos, specifically about how to get started in the modeling industry and like the first few steps that you need to take in order to start modeling. My previous video that I made about modeling had a lot to do with modeling agencies and you know, what open calls are like and like what to expect and you know, how to take digitals and you know, all of that, which I will link that video in the description. The goal with today's video is to help you get started, just to take those first initial steps to start beginning your journey as a model. So without further ado, let's get into the video. I get people telling me all the time that they don't know where to start. There's so many different ways that you could go about starting your journey as a model, and there's so many different ways that you could, you know, go at it. So before I dive into my tips on how to get started and taking those first steps to start modeling and kind of like, you know, get the ball rolling, I want to tell you guys how I got started. I was going into my senior year of high school. I was really into photography at the time in high school, so I just thought that I would be doing something art-based and go to an art school, and I didn't really know what my passions were at this point. Like, I had so many different hobbies, I just didn't really know where life was going to take me. I had a friend come over after school. She showed me this website, this platform, which I will get into later. Yeah, she just told me that she found this website where you could be a model. I don't know why, I just like decided that I was gonna sign up as a model, and yeah, the rest is history. And then after freelancing for about 6 or 7 months, then that's when I started to look into being signed by an agency, because I didn't even know what modeling agencies even did. Like, I had no idea what a modeling agency was. I had no idea. Like, this whole world of modeling was like so foreign to me. You know, I had always thought of, you know, the modeling world being in like Paris or Milan or Japan or, you know, New York. I had no idea that I could model in such a small town. Yeah, the modeling industry was like a whole new world to me. I was having so much fun, just learning new things and just, you know, collaborating with people. Going from working at an omelet house to collaborating with photographers and makeup artists and art directors and cinematographers and people that were just so passionate and artistic and just incredible at what they did, it just sucked me in. I literally was just married to the modeling industry from the beginning. I guess for me, I want to make this video because back when I was, like I said, working at an omelet house, 17 years old, about to be a senior in high school, and had no idea about the modeling industry or modeling agencies or like how to even contact photographers. Basically, when I got started, I had to figure out everything on my own. I didn't know anybody at my school or even in my entire town that was modeling, so I didn't have anybody teaching me or giving me tips or, you know, giving me guidance on, you know, how to get started. So I want to make this video because I know that 17-year-old me would have loved to see a video like this. So one tip that I have for you in terms of getting started in the modeling world is picking your market. Now, what I mean by that is choosing what type of modeling work you want to do. Now, there's so many things that you could do, and you don't necessarily have to put yourself in a box and be like, well, I just want to, you know, do this one thing. But for me, figuring out what type of modeling work that I wanted to do made it easier when going about contacting photographers. So I actually just pulled up a list of some different types of modeling work you can do. There's fashion editorial, there's runway and catwalk, there's commercial, there's plus size, there's petite, there's child modeling, swimsuit and lingerie, glamour, seriously, the list goes on. Kind of getting like a general idea of what exactly you want to do will help you contact the photographers that shoot the type of work that you want to do. So if you're interested in going down the same route that I went on when I got started with modeling, I would recommend Model Mayhem. If you're unfamiliar with the site, or if you have no idea what Model Mayhem even is, basically, Model Mayhem is a platform which connects photographers to models. As a beginner, I think Model Mayhem is really, really helpful in terms of kind of getting you introduced to who's in your area. And I'm sure that there are other websites out there that are similar to Model Mayhem, but this is just the website that helped me get started. When you sign up as a model, you can go on the website and look up photographers within like a 5 to 10 mile radius of your house. You could even look up photographers within a 50-mile radius, a 100-mile radius, and Model Mayhem gives you a complete list of all the photographers that have accounts on Model Mayhem that you could contact yourself and set up a shoot with. Personally, I would recommend Model Mayhem to anybody that is interested in modeling, but I would recommend it specifically for people that do not know any photographers in their area. So I think the biggest thing is like, well, I want to model, but I don't have anybody to take pictures of me. And you have that website at your disposal to introduce yourself to all of the photographers that are within like a 5 to 10 mile radius of your own house. When my friend showed me her portfolio, in the beginning, she didn't have any professional photos. Her portfolio literally consisted of iPhone photos from like an iPhone 4 or 3, like so old. And it's just a great way to meet all of the creatives in your area, which I recommend 1000%, because that really catapulted me into working and shooting all the time. I spent so much time on my computer writing emails to all the photographers who had awesome portfolios, and I just introduced myself and said, you know, told a little bit about myself, you know, what my hobbies were, what I'm doing, that I'm a student, that I work, and I have a job. You know, in the beginning, you do a lot of footwork. I spent weeks emailing. You know, I used that search tool and I just found all of the photographers that were in my area. I mean, it's really, really easy. You just have to be okay with, you know, putting yourself out there a little bit, and, you know, sending that email and sending that message is the first step, and you'll be surprised. There's a lot of people on Model Mayhem that would love to work with you. Chances are a lot of people on this website are also beginners as well, and they're also using this website as a tool to strengthen their work. So just like how you are a beginner in the modeling world, there are a lot of photographers who are just beginners in the photography world. So they need, you know, as many people as they can get to be the subject of their photographs. I never had to pay for my photo shoots. All of the photographers that I was able to contact and work with, they weren't expecting me to pay them. You know, I was a beginner. A lot of times they were just starting out. So you can get a lot of work and not have to spend any money doing so. And for me, I went from not knowing anybody to being connected with an entire community. So yeah, Model Mayhem is definitely a really awesome tool to get started. Once you start shooting with a handful of photographers, they'll tell their friends about you, and then their friends will tell their friends about you, and then somehow you'll start getting emails, you know, from other creatives and other photographers, people that you've been able to meet along the way. You know, since it is a lot of word of mouth, you get contacts just by working with people. When you do the footwork, hard work pays off. When you're passionate and you put a lot of effort into contacting photographers and, you know, setting up shoots, all of a sudden the web starts spinning, and you will definitely start to see that you're growing a network. And I think that's the coolest thing, is like, after, you know, doing all of that for even just like a few months, you'll look back and be like, wow, like I met so many people just through, you know, setting up shoots on my own. Like, who knew that I would know this person and this person? I mean, you get it. Another tip that I have for you is getting exposure. You want to be able to have as much exposure as you can possibly get. I remember when I did my first shoot, I took all of the photos and I made a Facebook page, I made a website on Format, and I just made sure that I was getting my photos out into the world, and I wanted to make sure that all my family and friends knew. I made sure to promote it on my personal Facebook as well as my Instagram. In my hometown, because I lived in the Bay Area, I discovered that there was a Bay Area models, photographers Facebook page that I requested to be a part of, and then once I was accepted, I started to see that there was other photographers and other models, you know, reaching out to each other and, you know, organizing shoots there. And that is also another awesome way to kind of get familiar with the people in your area. One tip that I have for everybody that is getting started with modeling is that it should not cost money. If you guys take one thing away from this video, please know you don't have to spend hundreds of dollars on modeling conventions, meetups. You don't have to spend money on photo shoots. You don't have to pay for classes. Modeling classes are just a huge scam and a waste of money. Trust me on this. Just trust me, do not spend your money on photo shoots. In the beginning, when you're first starting out, you'll hear this phrase a lot as a freelance model, time for print, which basically means you are paying the photographer by giving the photographer your time in exchange for photos. I promise you'll be able to find photographers that are totally happy with you just being the subject of their photographs. And it is not mandatory to spend money on photo shoots or school or anything like that. And whoever is trying to convince you otherwise, you need to stay clear from. Another tip that I have in terms of contacting photographers, when you are going through a platform like Instagram, I believe that the most professional way to go about contacting photographers is sending an email, not a direct message, because most of the time a lot of people are really bad with their DMs and some people don't even check them. And I know so many photographers that appreciate when models send a nice professional email to them saying that, you know, they would be honored to shoot with them, that it would be amazing if they could collaborate or do something fun and creative. And I know Instagram has kind of created this platform where a lot of people use Instagram to contact photographers in terms of getting work and photo shoots. But when you're first getting started, I feel like the most professional way to contact photographers is through email. Another tip that I have for you guys is just make sure that you are realistic about what you want to get out of modeling and what your intentions are behind modeling. Just make sure that you guys have realistic expectations. I see people all the time that expect to be on the cover of Vogue within, you know, 3 months of them modeling. I see models that think that they're gonna be able to work with Gucci and Louis Vuitton just right off the bat. And it's like, it takes time. I see this a lot where models will start their career and after just a few months, they'll start expecting that, you know, they get magazine covers and, you know, editorials and tear sheets, and, you know, they will be working with, you know, huge labels and brands, and that they'll get paid, you know, thousands of dollars. I see this a lot where models set really high, unrealistic expectations for, you know, what they want and what they think that they'll get. They're just straight divas, and they'll start demanding people, they'll be really bitchy, and they'll just start to feel entitled. As a model who thinks that having an amazing personality is just as important as having an amazing look, I see models all the time and work with them personally who are just so rude. Once you're really immersed in the market that you're in, you'll start to realize that the circle gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Go to shoots, it's so important to be friendly and fun to work with and easy to work with, and you want people to love you so they'll keep hiring you and wanting you to shoot again and again and again because they love your personality just as much as your look. And when you first start out, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of time, it's a lot of dedication, it's a lot of self-motivation, and you just have to set real expectations so you don't let yourself down and think, oh, I'm such a failure because I haven't shot for Vogue yet, or like, oh, I suck because I haven't walked New York Fashion Week yet. I mean, I even hear this from my own agents that I work with when they meet with models for the first time, models that come in and want to get signed. The agents will ask them things like, what do do you want out of modeling? Like, what are your goals? And models will just go straight to the Vogue thing, straight to the magazine covers, and it's like, if they don't get that, then it's like not worth it for them. You don't want to set yourself up with too high of expectations, because when those expectations aren't met, you just want to quit and you get discouraged and you don't feel like it's going to happen because it hasn't happened right away. And a lot of models that, you know, tend to do this, they end up quitting and walking away and hanging up their hat and just calling it a day. Modeling is a job and you have to treat it like a real job. And just because it hasn't happened in the time frame that you wanted it to happen doesn't mean that it's not going to happen at all. You know, the sky is the limit with modeling. All you have to do is just stay persistent and stay passionate, and you really gotta love what you do, because if you don't, you'll end up fizzling out so fast. One more tip that I want to give you, and something that I've learned along the way, you know, a mindset that I still implement to this day, is the mindset of being like a one-man band. And the whole idea of being like a one-man band is being able to improvise and being a good sport about having to do your own makeup and sometimes your own hair, and maybe even sometimes, you know, getting your own wardrobe for the shoot and your own shoes and your own clothes and your jackets and, you know, whatever. Sometimes if I have an idea in my head that I really want to shoot, the only way that it's gonna happen is if I pull my own wardrobe and I do my own hair and I do my own makeup. And for me, because I love what I do, I'm totally okay with that. And I love doing that because I get the final product back and I look at it and it's like, wow, like I fucking did that. And to me, that is so rewarding. Whenever I have an idea in my head that eventually translates to real photos, I'm so proud of the work that I put into it. And like I said a million times before, when you put in that effort, hard work pays off, and people really do appreciate all the hard work that you put into whatever you do when you're in this type of environment, because, you know, pulling stuff together and creating magic requires a lot of energy and a lot of time and a lot of passionate people. And when you could be that person who's like, yeah, like I'm totally okay with doing makeup, yeah, I can do my own hair for the shoot, people see that and they're like, wow, like Frances is a hard worker, like she works so hard. And that to me is priceless. Putting in a little more work, I promise you, you will create work that you are so proud of. Moral of the story, when you're just starting out and you're just trying to get your foot in the door in the modeling world and you're trying to get the ball rolling, don't be discouraged, don't be shy, put yourself out there. You gotta be your own cheerleader and you gotta be positive, and you just have to be optimistic for the future. I really do hope these tips were helpful. Give this video a like if you want. If this helped you, that would help me a lot. Of course, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye.